Which players do you think will make up the top forward lines going into next season?
Well, I think the good thing about acquiring Toffoli and Anderson is that it's going to allow Claude Julien to keep his number one line, or what was his number one line, of Danault, Tatar, and Gallagher together. And then I think after that, you've got two pretty decent lines. I mean, I wrote them down. For myself, if it was me, I'd have Suzuki with Drouin and Anderson. And then I'd have Kotkaniemi with Toffoli, moving him to the left wing, which he says he has played in the past. He's a right winger, really, along with Armia. And then you got Evans, Byron, and Lehkonen on the fourth line. But Claude Julien is going to be able to mix and match a little bit, move guys around. I still think the Danault line will be his number one line. That's the line that can play in any situation. They're good defensively and good offensively. And then he's got two others. So it's almost like he's got three number two lines, which isn't necessarily a bad thing. They have some depth in the scoring department. So as I mentioned earlier, they're in a much better situation than they were last season.
And I think we all know that Claude is not afraid to mix things up. And if you were going to go by last year and the playoffs with Suzuki and Kotkaniemi, these kind of guys obviously made great strides. But they're all starting from square one when it starts for a new season. And it'll be entirely up to these players to earn a spot or earn a position on where they think they should be, or where the coaching staff wants them to be, to allow them the best chance to win. So again, different combinations, nice to have some options instead of being stuck with certain players. And now they have the ability to move some guys around that are bona fide NHL players that should make things happen and should complement any one of the top three lines.
And that should also hopefully make it a little bit easier for Nick Suzuki and Jesperi Kotkaniemi, who want to follow up their playoff performance and show that they can be a center. And maybe that can also be some good inner competition between those two players, who will be the next behind Phillip Danault as the center. But it's a really great opportunity that the Canadiens have that they didn't have in the past, being able to have proven NHL players to use on your lines, that they're not necessarily a lineup of a whole bunch of fourth liners. But I agree with what Stu said. I think that top line that we saw last year will remain. And then once camp happens and see who has chemistry with who, there's a lot of people to choose from that could be in the top six.
Yeah, Suzuki and Kotkaniemi were great during the playoffs, but it was a 10-game window after having 3 months off. They were fully rested, fully healthy. We all remember Kotkaniemi got sent down to the minors last season. Suzuki had 1 goal in his last 9 regular season games. He had seemed to hit a bit of a wall, sort of like Kotkaniemi did in his rookie season, which is understandable. But I think the other thing that works well here is for Phillip Danault. He made it pretty clear he doesn't want to be a third-line player. And in this situation, he might, however you number the lines, he might be on the third line, but Claude Julien is going to roll his lines. So all these guys are going to be getting basically the same ice time, plus Danault kills penalties, so he'll get more. So I think this is a situation Danault can become a free agent after next season. That's another contract that Marc Bergevin is going to have to settle. But I think Danault will probably be a little bit happier the way things are now. That I still think that's their top line, but I don't think he's going to consider himself now a number 3 center. I think he's a center on one of 3 lines that can play a lot of minutes.
All right, go to hockeyinsideout.com now and check out this week's full episode.